talking really loud. Hope you guys are doing good. Good to see everybody's face here. As Dino was saying, did y'all hear Andy say, I'm better than him at speaking? That was cool to hear. My ego inflated a little bit. I've been here for 4 years, and it's honestly an honor because I started coming to these events in 2015 because I started dating Haley, and she would bring me to these events and just getting around the energy. And I'm telling you, I was living on cloud nine on my other job because I was making a lot of money, and what I thought was a lot of money. But Haley kept bringing me around these. So, like when I tell you Haley's a good recruiter, I promise you she's a good recruiter. She kept bringing me to these meetings, and I got to be around. And I looked up to a lot of the people that I didn't even know, just seeing them talk. Diane Lampy, Stephen Davies, Fitz, Paul, just seeing what they were doing. So it's really kind of surreal for me to be up here talking to you guys, and in a relatively short time frame. But when I started thinking about what I want to talk about, my goal was to reach everyone, right? So I want to talk to people who have been here less than a year. I want to talk to people who have been here for a couple of years. I want to talk to the agency managers. I want to give everybody a piece. So I really took it seriously when I started putting together my topic, and I said, how can I reach everyone? So like, for example, if you've been here less than a year, raise your hand. Hell yeah. All right, let's see, have you been here a year or two? Okay. The ones with your hands up right now, and the ones that had your hands up before, I am guessing there is a few of you that are like, hey, I think I could be doing better, right? I think I should be further along. And I think what we have to understand about the Alliance is we have a system in place. I've read the 8 Steps book a couple times, and one of the things that sticks out to me that I think is relevant in our business too is there's a part early on in the book where Andy's talking about him and Jane gets diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease, and it's a form of cancer. So, when Andy is talking with the doctor, they say, hey, stick to these things. You do this, and this, she'll survive, right? So, in the Alliance, we have a blueprint for your business to survive or not survive. And some of us come in here and we just get all off track. Like, I want to do it my own way, right? And I mean, none of us are guilty of it, of course. But it happens. And so it's like I see the success that has been created here. And I see the people that are doing it. And then I see people come in and they want to do it their own way. And it's very confusing to me. It just doesn't make any sense. So I want to talk to you guys today about the 4 reasons that some win and some lose in this business. All right? I was talking to Jordan, I think you're over there. Jordan, and Andy just got him here, and he has no idea really what we do. And I was like, hey, so let me just put it to you simply. We buy leads, we help people out, we fill out the leads, and we teach other people how to do it. Pretty simple, right? Very, very simple system. So I want to go through, I've got 4 reasons, and before I get started on the 4 reasons that I believe that some win and lose, being here 4 years, I've seen a lot of people come and be successful here. I've seen a lot of people come and go. And I know there's a plethora of reasons out there that people don't succeed in this business, but I've really been able to narrow it down to 4 reasons. And it's not going to be everything that you would think. Like, you would think training would be on here. A lot of people don't quit because of training. If they get out there and do it, they learn, right? So, the other thing that should maybe be in there is what Jake talked about, communication. The most successful people that I have in my business, they communicate with me on a daily basis. And you know what I'll tell you too? The thing that stuck out to me the most about what Jake said, and I hope you guys heard this, was who are you getting your advice from? Are you reaching out to the right person? Because if you're reaching out to someone that's not doing as well as you, or someone that complains all the time, guess what you're going to start doing? You're going to grow that cancer within your organization. So I love what you said there. And here's the thing from a manager perspective, is if Jake's on my team, it should not just be a one-way street. Jake reaches out to me. No, I need to be involved in his business, find out what's going on. I think very early on, back to me and Scott Kuster, who is absolutely tearing it up now, right? So he's a 20K, 30K a month producer. So yeah, give it up for Kuster. And one of the things that had happened when he got started with us is it appeared if you send a text message to people, you will get back an answer that says, I'm doing good. But if you call and you pry, it's kind of like what Marcus was talking about in the house. You got to do the same thing on the recruiting side. So I reach out to Scott. Appeared everything's going great. You know what? He tells me something along the lines of, after digging in on questions like, hey man, how's it really going? Well, tell me a little bit about, your schedule and everything like that. He goes, man, I'll be honest with you. I feel like I'm at sea in a ship with no direction. So all it boiled down to, it wasn't the training, it was his schedule. It was his schedule. His wife's a nurse. He has to look after the kids while his wife's working. All we had to do was figure that out. So let's go ahead and get into my presentation. I'm controlling the presentation, right? Yo. First time doing this, baby. Oh, and I got a blinder, so y'all kiss me. Okay, my boy Denzel. My boy Denzel says, without commitment, you'll never start. Without consistency, you'll never finish. And I kind of want that to be the theme of my presentation. Because as we go forward, I want you to understand what commitment and consistency mean. And there's a bunch of definitions out here. I chose the ones I liked. Commitment, willingness to give your time and energy to a job or activity, something that you believe in, okay? So in my mind, this is where it becomes, you've got to make up your mind. You've got to make a choice. I'm going all in or I'm not. There's no all in or half in, right? If you dealt with the people who have 1 foot in, you don't want to work with them. You don't want to waste your time with them. So I'm looking for people who are committed, right? So I think I've heard Andy say this, but he says, your character's built on your commitments. So when we look at your commitment to something, this is where I need you guys to go ahead and make up your mind. If you're a year in, if you're not even a year in, I need you to make up your mind. Are you going all in at this, or are you not? It's that simple. Just let us know so we can move on. If you ain't all in with us, right? Let's talk about consistency. Consistency should just be like Megan Wood up there. But it's the ability to replicate a process or activity over and over again. This is discipline. I loved how we talked about this last night. Oh, here's one thing I'll say too. Kind of a squirrel. So I was talking with Mark, and I was like, you talked last night. I loved his example about the vision. You guys like that? And one of the things that I noticed was a lot of the speakers are saying a lot of the same things, which makes me very, very excited, because that means we're all unified. We're in unity. We're pushing the same. We can't do this thing separately. I can't have Rojas telling the people in Tampa something different than I'm telling them. I can't be setting a different example than he set. We got to be on the same page. So I love seeing that unity. But consistency is going to be a major part of your success. Okay, so I'm getting these out the way because I need you to understand commitment and consistency so you can understand how they relate to the 4 things that I'm talking about. So I put in here, it's not how great you are, it's about your consistency, right? So that's what leads to becoming great and being successful. Megan Wood, Brian Ross, they were not the greatest salesman on earth when they came into the business. Jake was not the greatest salesperson. He just told you he went like 0 for 18. I've heard Mia Fennell's story. I think she went 0 for 20 in her first 20 appointments. But it's not about that. It was about their discipline to continue doing what they were doing to get to the outcome they were desiring. You understand? Like this is something where we give up. Like you either have that discipline or you just simply give up. You're not all in. Because you're going to figure it out. When we talk about leads, he's up here talking about buying leads. I can tell you, if you're accepting the excuse that they don't have $250 towards their first lead budget, you're basically allowing them to not have commitment or consistency or that discipline. Because I'm telling you, it's America. You can come up with $250 pretty quickly. So let's talk about the 4 things. I'm going to give them to you. Schedule is number 1. Number 2 is your investment. Number 3 is activity. And number 4 is your mentality. These things will make or break you. It's been my experience that if I come to someone who's struggling in this business, I can always point it back to one of these 4 things. So schedule. That's going to be commitment. All right? No. Schedule is going to be commitment. Right? That's a very obvious one. I don't think I have to explain that one. Investment. That's a commitment. You're invested to be here. That's a commitment that you made to yourself, to your upline, and you got here. Activity. I don't have to explain that one either. Consistency. But the last one, mentality, it might be confused, but when I look at mentality, I think about how consistently I have to work on my mentality and how often I have to listen to audios and read books to keep myself sane, to talk to people who have done this for longer than I have. I have to consistently be doing those things. Any chance I get around these top leaders. I've been to both of Davy's trainings. He had one in Dallas, he had one in Arden, North Carolina. I went to both of them. Why? Because I want to soak it up. I've got daggone stories throughout my presentation that I learned from that guy. All I got to do is work on my comedy. I'll be up there with you. All right. I keep on pointing up there. I'm sorry, Billy. Okay, this one's funny to me. Schedule. And again, Mark did a great job on this last night. But your entire life is scheduled. You get that, right? Like when Jake talks about his firstborn and they're coming into, they're on a schedule. You're bottle fed at certain times, right? You go to elementary school. You show up at 7 o'clock. You leave at 2 o'clock. You get into middle and high school. Now you're playing sports. It's funny how it's all scheduled, right? It's not like, hey, I'm a baseball player. Coach said we're practicing on Tuesday and Thursday. What time? I don't know. We'll just probably show up out there around 7. That's not how it works. It's not school is not like that either. Now you get in the corporate world. You're working for somebody else, building their business, right? And you show up at 8 o'clock, you leave at 5 o'clock. Every day, it doesn't matter what happens, you show up at 8 o'clock. Then you get self-employed, right? Mark talks about the benefit of being self-employed is you can do whatever the hell you want. The downfall of being self-employed, you can do whatever the hell you want, right? So now all of a sudden, we decide that it's okay to make excuses. It's okay to not show up for ourselves. You know what we're doing? We're showing ourselves a lack of self-respect. We're giving the guy who we're helping him build his business more respect than we are us and our family. We're letting them down. And then here's the craziest thing. If you don't treat this like a job, if you treat it like a hobby, which some of you got to look yourselves in the mirror and say, I'm treating this like a hobby, you will go back to a job. What you want to get away from is where you end back up if you don't treat this like a job. So, it pisses me off to imagine, like I look at people, I'm like, bro, I had this lady, actually she was in Dallas on Jeff's team. I remember having a talk with her. She ain't here. She couldn't get this part down. And she was a principal. I said, look, what time you got to go to school? 7 o'clock. What time you get off? Like 3:30. I was like, is there ever a time where you don't show up at 7? No, never. And I'm like, why don't you show up for yourself then? Why don't you show up for yourself? She didn't like it. She quit. I don't care. I'm moving on, baby. So, sorry, Jeff. Schedule equals commitment. So if it's on your schedule, you'll do it, right? And I learned this from Andy. Now, that's why he always talks about schedule. And I hate when he asks me my schedule and I don't have it planned out yet. And I'm working on it, I promise you. But that's what I've come to know is like if I make a decision and put it on my calendar, I will do it, right? So when you're getting started with us early on, you've got to set up a schedule. Managers, you've got to get with your people and help them. Most of us have never been self-employed. You've got to get with them and make sure they have a schedule of success set up. If you don't, they're going to be dying. Their business is going to be dying. So if it's on my schedule, I'm going to do it. Commitment gives you clarity. When it's on my calendar, I know that it's a priority. Here's the big kicker. Priorities give you the ability to say no. This is the most important, right? Hey, I got to get up and dial on Monday morning. My buddy hit me up and says, you want to go golfing? If I don't have my priorities set up, I will say yes. What sounds better, golfing or dialing? Don't lie. Damn, the dishes sound better than dialing. I'll do the dishes. And I'll tell you like dialing. Some of you crazy. You're like, I love it. Okay, you can make my dials, right? So, but that's the thing is it'll create your ability to say no, because if it's on your schedule, you're sticking to that. You can tell people no. Hey, give me a week heads up. Let me know. We'll get together next week. I'll figure out some time to make for you if it's important, right? Or let's say Haley wants to go to dinner with some friends. If I've got something I got to do, I'm doing it. I do a lot of Zooms, don't I? I mean, I'm a Zoomer. I'm a Zoom machine. And so, like, if she wants to go to dinner, she's got to wait till after we get done with the Zoom, because that's on my schedule. I got to do it. So I'm telling, and thank God, like, she's grown up with this, but she don't combat me on that. She's not, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. She certainly gets pissed off at me. Who wouldn't? I mean, I'll piss myself off. But it allows her to see, like, hey, what I'm doing isn't to take away time from us, it's to build a better future for us. So it allows me to say no to her, it allows me to say no to my friends. I want to show you guys, let me get on this Elmo thing. You know what, I don't even want to use that. Haley created a pretty one. I want to do it again. This is how I do it with everybody. Alright? So let's say I'm getting you started. JT, dude, bro, we did this, right? Monday. Can y'all see it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Y'all get it? Saturday, Sunday. I always put, this is from early. Jesus right there, baby. All right. So, we got 6 days in a week. 7, to be honest. Anyhow. So, when I look at this, I'm thinking of how I can help somebody, right? So I'm talking to JT, I'm talking to whoever. When Scott had this problem, we dealt with it then. So here's what I'm going to try to figure out is what's his goals, right? Is he doing this thing full-time? Is he doing it part-time? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, hey, bro, need you at 2 o'clock, AMG team call. Wednesday, 12:30. And by the way, I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing it with them. They're writing it out. I'm writing it out. Thursday, 1 o'clock. Need you on product call. Friday, 10 a.m. Here's the thing. We got to work in a minimum of 6 to 8 appointments on Tuesday and 6 to 8 appointments on Wednesday. We got to do the same thing on Friday and Saturday. Now, I know some of you are like, I push 10 appointments. I don't care. That's awesome. Let's do it. I'm trying to get somebody started. I'm trying to give them 6 to 8 appointments. We'll work into that 10. If you want to start with 10, start with 10. That's what I'm saying. I do care. I'm just saying I don't care what you start with. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm at least shooting for 24 to 32 appointments a week. That's my goal. Because I was told by one of my mentors that if you have 26 a week, you can guarantee a $20,000 a month issue paid business. Now notice, I didn't say 20 appointments. I said 26. Okay? If he's a liar, you tell him that. All right, so now I'm going to say, hey, here's what I need you to do. On Sunday nights, I always need you to prepare. I need you to get your calendar set up for the following week. I need you to have your leads printed out because I need you to start dialing at 8 o'clock. I don't need you to start getting your coffee. I don't need you to take a pee break at 8 o'clock. I need you to start dialing that phone at 8 o'clock. That's what I need you to do. Hey, and guess what? I need you to dial, and they'll be like, how long? As long as it takes to hit your 6 to 8 appointments. 12 to 14 or 12 to 16 appointments the next 2 days. However long it takes. I think back to when Jeff started with me. I'll show his activity here in a little while. Jeff busted his tail. He would dial from 8 to 12. He'd go out and door knock from 1 to 4. He'd come back and he'd clean up the rest of it in the evening on the phone. Because he was dedicated to having those appointments set. He was disciplined enough to go out there and get it done. So they're going to be down. I need to set expectations. I need about $35 an hour out of you. Right? So, and then I'm setting up their appointments. I don't care if they do an hour and a half apart. 8 o'clock, I need you on your first one. 9:30. I need you out here at 11. You get it, right? So I'm breaking it down. I do this with everyone. I actually have a boot camp now. I'm like official. I'm teachable, baby. And it walks them through it. But what I'm teaching people is, hey, I need you to get with your upline and go over this, because your upline can guide you on whether this is a crappy schedule or not. They should be guiding you. If you're part-time, it's even more important that you have a schedule, because you got some consistent income coming in. I got to battle that. Now I got to get you making money. Now I got to get your mindset of, when I get off at 5, I got to go right into insurance. Why? Because I'm trying to get out that daggone job. So we got to keep that on the frame, right? So let me go back to this. This is probably the most important part of my schedule talk. Let me go back to my I know y'all work on it. Let me explain. Let me just go ahead and say it. So the most important thing that you can do when they get this schedule set up is, the next immediate thing they do is they go and share this with someone they love. They share it with someone who they want or need to win for, right? I love, Reggie, you're in here. I know we did this, bro. What I tell you to do immediately after we finish getting your schedule set up. He's got 2 kids, 2 daughters. I say, you need to run this past your daughters. You need to tell them, this is what daddy's doing for the foreseeable future, so I can create a better future for you guys. That's immediately following it. I can't hold them accountable all the time. I need somebody else to be holding them accountable, right? So if you don't get anything else out of this, I'm going to use this because I just think it's cool. I can't even see it. Daggone it. But share your schedule with somebody that you love, you care about, you want to win for. Okay? Let's go on to the next one. Invest. This one's tough for some people. This one's going to be good. And I knew it was going to go fast. All right, invest your time. Who and what are you listening to? What are you reading? I do not like reading. I really don't. But my mentor told me, one of my mentors told me early on in this business, he goes, Brandon, I can't talk to you 24 hours a day. He's like, so when you're not talking with me and you're not working, I need you listening to audios. I need you reading books. I said, I'll listen to audios. No, I need you to read books too. So it starts me out with, what do you think? Think and Grow Rich. That's the damn reason for Cliff Notes. Y'all ain't lying to me saying that thing's fun to read. It's not. It's a damn textbook. It's good, but so I get through it, right? I get through it, and here we go. I get on the phone. I'm like, hey man, I finished it. Cool. That's awesome, man. What'd you think? Yeah, it was, I need you to read it again. What? He's like, and listen to the audio this time along with it. I was like, damn. But they taught me a lesson. He taught me a lesson. Because I think I heard Terry Edwards say this in the past. All of the secrets are hidden in books. Right? All the secrets are hidden in books. And they repeat themselves a lot. So I'm trying to absorb as much of that knowledge as I can. Right now, I've got. We just started this. I'm always thinking of ways that I can help the team try to get on the same page. And so when I'm talking to the group, I'm like, hey, let's do a book a month this year. So we started with Atomic Habits. Any of you guys read Atomic Habits? Great freaking book. And so Atomic Habits talks about how tiny habits will compound, right? And what do we do at the beginning of the year? We set all these big goals. But we don't think about the day in, day out, right? We don't think about the day in and day out of what we're going to do to achieve those goals. I want to lose 50 pounds. Still eating damn cheeseburgers. I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to happen. You got to set it up, right? So, also, what are you prioritizing? Like, you guys are here. You guys traveled to Dallas. So I was talking to somebody earlier that came from Atlanta, 14 and a half hours or something, driving. Let's fly next time. But travel, right? Traveling helps you out in so many different ways. Like I think about Jeff Schultz, when he got started with me, I paid for him and his wife a hotel and a flight to Treasure Island, Florida. We were having a meeting there. And he was maybe a month in. And so the key to it was getting his spouse there. Because then I didn't have to kick his ass anymore, she did. Right? It was beautiful. And but I got her around the Alliance family. And once I did that, he was all in. So, like, if you think about it, what'd that cost me? $1,000? You think that $1,000 investment was worth it? I mean, come on. So getting out to these people, you get on a different level. I just talked about Zooming, right? Zooming, you ain't going to get that connection that you do in person. I promise you, you're not. So the other thing is getting around like the other leaders in here, right? Like I just told you, I go up to Davies in a heartbeat because I love their training that they do. It's so quality. Like I'm traveling out there to see him. I'm trying to get all of my team there, right? Like I usually take someone with me. Like when we were in Arden, I think we had 10 people there, right? Arden, North Carolina? Yeah, so I'm always trying to get around it. All right, let's talk about the big elephant in the room, leads. So here's the thing. You got to start thinking from a cost of business perspective. So we're self-employed. We're business owners. I got a buddy who, him and his dad own a glass business. And got to talking with his dad one night, trying to figure out all the costs that go into it. So they yield about $400,000 a year. Their overhead costs, their materials, their labor, $1,200 a day. $1,200 a day to yield $400,000. If you spent, I mean, you see what Megan Wood made, spending $1,500 a week with us? But I need you guys to start thinking like that. What is my cost of business? And it's leads, it's investment, it's time, travel, schedule, traveling to the people to help them out. So start thinking like a business owner. I need you to get a constant flow of leads. See, we got to get away from it, you've got to get away from this idea of buy leads as you need them, right? You don't need to buy leads as you need them. You need leads constantly coming in, right? We need to get on a consistent GMR to be successful in this business. So don't think about it from a as needed basis. The other thing is I'm gonna get into some numbers here, and I hope you like them. But this is not including the 4 basics. That's the nice thing. So like when I go over these numbers, I'm not talking about you getting referrals, you finding safe money, you recruiting out the house. Some of you laugh at me when I say, like some of my team laughs when I say recruits. Like I'm sitting down with a 70-year-old woman. She told you about her damn grandkids and kids the whole time. Homeboy just got laid off from UPS. He's ready for a job. Talk to him. Megan Wood and Stephanie Rodriguez came from a house. Ask the question. It's simple. That question that Megan Wood says she was asked takes 5 seconds to ask. And look at what it can produce for you. A Megan Wood, right? So let's get into the numbers. Oh, I think I do one thing before I do this. All right, lead breakdown. I did this. I do want to spend some time on this. Lead breakdown. Direct mail leads, we got about a 50-60% close ratio. Internet leads, about a 20% close ratio. Should we be supplementing direct mail with internet? Absolutely. Should we rely only on internet? No. Why would we? We have a 60% ratio, right? So here's where it starts to become a question of cost of acquisition. Your time, your energy. This is thinking like a business-minded person in this business. What is my cost of acquisition? If I sit down with direct mail leads, I'm spending $40. I'm spending $10 on an internet lead. Guess what, managers? It's way easier to sell a $10 lead. Are we leading our people in the right place? Absolutely not. If we know what has success, and I'm not telling you not to use internet leads, I'm just telling you put direct mail in there too. Supplement it with internet leads. And don't be a secret agent. I love how Sean Boone talks about this. And Sean Boone, you're a great point at this. Social media marketing. Social media is fantastic. If you're working with somebody who is telling you to only use social media instead of leads, they are holding you back. They are 100% holding you back. I'll give you a great example. Sean Boone, he's been working with us for 3 years. He says he's been working with us 8 months, and if you totaled out the whole 3 years. But last year he got pretty serious about this business. I'm so proud of him. Made over 100K, doubled his income. Super proud of you, man. At the end of this year, he decides, man, I'm sick of not winning. I want to make $250,000 next year. And I was like, that's what I said. Let's go. And so he starts getting some leads. He starts getting on a GMR. Well, Sean Boone, the old Sean Boone would have gone out in the week before Christmas, and he would have gotten 2 sales off this warm market. But Sean Boone worked leads that week as well. He sold 4 policies in the house. So he sold 6 policies total. So he would have missed out on 67% of the sales if he weren't buying leads and just working social media. You see what I'm talking about when I say they're holding you back if they're telling you not to buy leads? Whoever he was talking about, I hope you change your mentality. Person who's telling their people to save money on leads, just change your mentality. It's a business. So let's talk about scaling up, because I'm not expecting you to come in here and maybe you don't have the funds to start with 1,000. Can we start with 250? I need you to take that 50. I need you to turn it into 2,500 AP. Let's say conservatively you earn about $1,000 in your bank account. It would be very beneficial to take half of that and put it back into leads. Work your way up to 1,000, right? So we talk about it. Repeat it until you reach your desired monthly income, right? Take half and invest the rest. So most people, what do? They go out and spend their money. Why? It's like going to a casino and there's a table set up and you put $10 down, they give you 50, and it's just over and over again. You never get a seat at that table. Instead, you walk over to the blackjack table. Just terrible odds. Why would you do that? Put your money back into your business. Invest. All right, let's break it down. I did this a while ago, actually. And it's funny how this business works. So I said, how big do you want your 92% to be? So if I'm investing, and I'm using very conservative numbers here, and I really was trying to go as low as possible on the commission structure. So if I'm investing $250 a week, that's $1,000 a month. That's about 25 leads a month, right? $1,000. So now I know our average annualized premium is $1,000. I know I need to sell 2,000 to make 1,000 back. 2,000 annualized premium, right? So I need to sell 2 apps. 2 leads, 2 apps. That's 8% of my total inventory, right? I have 23 leads left. 92% profit opportunity. I get it, you're not going to get on everybody, but you've got 92%. You've made your money back, now you got 92% to work with. All right, let's say that you go and you close 50%, right? You should probably use 25, but it looks cooler. 50% close ratio, 11 and a half sales off of those 23 leads, right? At 1,000, you're putting 11,500 AP up, probably putting, let's just say conservatively, 5-6 grand in your bank account. So you spend 1,000 to make 5,000 or 6,000. Now, let's say you take my advice and you level up. Now you've leveled up to 1,000 a week, $4,000 a month. You're getting 100, that should say 100 leads a month, not a week. 100 leads a month. Now you need to sell 8 apps at 1,000 AP to make your money back. Again, very conservative. I hope you guys realize that. Now I've got 8 leads, 8% of my total inventory. I've got 92 leads to work with now. 92 leads for just straight profit. I think about like Jeff. He'll invest 60 grand this year in leads. Spend 5 grand a month. That is funny. It says you got this, Brandon. He'll spend 60 grand in leads this week. And this is love you, Haley. And so, anyway, my point is, he'll make that 60 grand back in this month, okay? So in 11 months of this year, it's just straight profit. That's how I need you guys to understand this. The only reason you wouldn't do something like this is because you're scared to work. That's the problem. That's the problem. All right, let's move on. I don't want to offend too many. I get mad at me. You know I've been known to do it. Activity. I love talking about this. I got to go fast, okay? So activity. I love this story. Mark Hutchinson, Stephen Davies told me it. They sit together. A lot of you guys, this is a problem that you're facing right now. You have this idea in your mind of income, but your activity level does not match it. Stephen Davies talks about Mark Hutchinson. He was an electrician, and Mark was about ready to quit. And so he said, "You can't quit, come to my office." He said, "Look, bro, your income level expectations up here, your activity level's down here. So we either need to move your income level down, or we need to increase your activity. Which one?" And that changed the whole game for Mark. I mean, think about that. He would have went back to being an electrician. He makes damn good money as an insurance agent. He is one of the best I've seen. One of the best trainers I've ever seen is Mark Hutchinson. And we would have lost him if Stephen would have had that conversation with him. But how many of you guys are about to quit because you have an expectation of what your income should be, but you're putting in minimal effort? So let's do one of two things. We got to have them. We got to have them add up, right? So I've really got to go. So like consistency, you guys. I mean, if I want to look like Brandon Beal, I got to be at the gym at 5:30. That joker inspires me. I'd be looking at Instagram and be like, damn, he's up at 5:30 again this morning in the rain the other day. I saw that. So, but it's like I can't expect for me to look like Brandon Beal if I don't show up to the gym every day, right? Last thing, what you did last week does not matter this week. This creates subconscious complacency. You think, well, I did pretty good last week. I don't really have to worry about it this week. I got enough in the bank. Or on the flip side, it'll create the mentality of I'll make up for it next week. Right? I'll procrastinate this week. I won't, you know what? I just kind of feel like watching Netflix, drinking some beer. I'll get to it next week. It creates complacency, or it creates that complacent mentality, and that'll break your business. All right, I think, dang, that's blurry. Can y'all see that on that screen? Well, this is a terrible activity book, right? I just want to quickly go over this. This is Jeff Schultz live dials, and this is $639. 43 contacts, 21 appointments for $9,600. Well, 21 plus 16, $9,600. Here's the funny thing, though, because I'm gonna rush, but this person, this is what I'm talking about. This person's expecting the same outcome as this person. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? So I'll show you that. That doesn't show you the door knocks. This was early on, Jeff. That doesn't show you his door knocks that he went out and did, right? $639. Everybody wants that number over there on the end. They just don't want to put in that work. That's the problem. All right, I got to talk to y'all about something big. Mentality. Mindset. All right. All right, we've been over some of this, so I'm going to try to skip through this because I really like the last slide, and I think it's funny. So, be ready to take a plunge. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Okay, like, when you go out and sell a policy, and then you get a chargeback, don't freak out. Go sell more policies. Go try to rewrite that policy. You know, it blows my mind. People are like, I don't want to call them back to cancel them. They don't even know it's canceled. Call them and tell them. Hey, did you know that your payment didn't go through? No. Is the money in there? Okay, I'm going to call them and have them run it back. Boom. Right back on the books. Right? Read, listen, audio, y'all get that. Learn from yourself. Be a student in the game. Try, fail, adjust. That's what I always say. Right? I learned that from one of my mentors. Try, fail, adjust. That's all you can do in this business. Try, fail, adjust. Write down, like, I love what you said, Jake. Davies told me this a while back. Write down after every appointment how it went. Call for help. Be a student of the game. Learn. Don't look at this as a plan B. I really wish I could spend some time on that. But don't come into this with a loser mentality of plan B. There is no, Eric Thomas says there is no plan B. There's only plan A. Plan A, plan A, plan A. It's all right, guys. And then your biggest battle. Oh, I do want to share this. I like this a lot. And I hope you guys can see this one better. I think I can. So there's a guy named Jason Capital out there. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but I like watching some of this stuff. And he talks about this valley of despair. And he goes through this emotional cycle of change, right? So the stage one is uninformed optimism. Holy crap, this guy named Terry's telling me about how much money I can make in insurance. I'm so excited. All I got to do is call people that have filled out this form and I make like $1,000. It's freaking amazing. Then they get stage two, informed pessimism. I made some dials, and this is actually harder than I thought. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm cut out for it. Somebody told me no on the phone and screamed F you and hung up on me. I got to the house, and they weren't there. Right? Then we get into this stage of the valley of despair. This is the make it or break it. This will make it or break it to you. Right? So if you can push through this, you'll end up in informed optimism. But I want to talk quickly about stage 1 through 3. You said quit and repeat phase 1 through 3. That's what a lot of people do. You ever talk to anybody on the phone that's been a part of all these network marketing deals? You're like, hey, who do you know? Well, I know quite a few people, but I brought them into Mary Kay, I brought them into this, I brought them into that. None of them work. They don't listen to me anymore. Right? That's these people that do phases 1 through 3. See, they never, anytime they face any sort of pressure, they fold, and they say, this is too hard for me. I'm going to go try something different. right? So the ones who push through, now they become informed but optimistic, right? So now they're looking at it as like, you know what, this is, I'm going to get the hang of this. I'm going to push through. A lot of this comes through talking with your manager, what you're listening to. And then the last stage is success and fulfillment, right? So like JT, happy birthday, by the way, JT. He's one of my buddies from college. We were in the same fraternity together, and I was talking to him earlier this week, and it reminded me of this, so I thought I'd share it with you. He's like, damn, bro, when I first got started, y'all were all talking about how easy this was. And I was just like, no, the hell it ain't. You know? And then he's like, but now I'm like, this is easy. You know? So he's pushed through that chart, right? He pushed through stage 3. And now he's seeing the success. He'll do probably 20K this month, his 3rd, 4th month. Stoked for him. Right? But he pushed through. So if you're in a position, here's what I'll leave you with, is if you're in a position right now where you're kind of in that valley of despair, keep pushing. Because guess what? People are watching you. And a lot of you guys have kids. What kind of example are you going to set for your kids? What kind of example? Are you going to be one of those 1 through 3 phases where mommy always starts and quits everything? Or are you going to be somebody who's damn determined, disciplined, and going to figure this thing out? All right, I'm 2 minutes over, baby.